Hey everyone, I need your attention for 1 minute. This is not one of those ads. This is something that has changed my entire life. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know that this is all about personal development as the foundation for everything good in your life. And this podcast is now sponsored by Growth Day, which is the world's first all-in-one personal development app. I mean, oh my gosh, can you imagine having everything all in one place that you need to create the life that you want? Now you can. So if you've been struggling with your motivation, your mood, your productivity, or your purpose, you have to check this out. Growth Day helps you consciously change your life and achieve your potential. It has all the self-improvement tools, motivational classes, and life coaching all in one place. So many of us want to improve our lives, but the question is how? Where do we start? What do we use? How do you get unstuck? How do you make self-improvement stick? Well, research shows how. It's when you consistently journal, track your habits, set goals, learn from empowering mentors, and challenge yourself that you'll be happier, healthier, and more successful. But let me ask you something. Where do you actually do all of your personal development work? I have to tell you that over 300,000 people use Growth Day for a reason. It works. It's the world's #1 software for self-improvement. Growth Day has an amazing mindset journal that I absolutely love, a habit tracker, and a goal-setting system. In fact, I bet if you went to my stories this week, you probably saw me using the journaling app and telling you to do it too, because it's the first time that journaling has ever actually stuck consistently in my life because of this app. And best of all, Growth Day has live inspirational classes every single week from the world's top motivational speakers and life coaches. These are people who have impacted my life in huge ways. These are mentors who I already knew and loved. In fact, this is something that's so huge for me, you guys. I personally teach a class in Growth Day every single month, and it is one of the most fun things that I get to do, and I'd love to see you there. These classes will truly shift your life. There's always something new that you will learn. So join me and 300,000 achievers growing our lives with actual real intention. Visit growthday.com/Lori for a free trial. Yes, you can try this for free. So go to growthday.com/Lori and go live your best life. You guys, that's growthday.com/Lori. And I can't wait to see you there. Thanks to Babbel for supporting my show. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it perfect way to really learn a new language on the go. Right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/Lori.
When I was growing up, I felt like I didn't fit in. And I was like an oddball. And like, I was like, I want to live in Paris. I want to do runway. Like, I want to have pink hair. So I wrote myself in my journal that I wasn't the black sheep. I was the gold sheep because I was more sparkly.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. If you have not subscribed to my daily text, you guys, I would love to be texting you all of the inspiration, all of my manifesting affirmations, all of my I don't know. It's like if you were my friend, if you were my bestie, I would literally be sending you these pep talks. So if you want my mini pep talks every day, which I think you would love, you can always send back stop if you hate them. Totally fine. I won't take it personal, maybe a little. Just text me the word daily to 310-496-8363. I would love to get you on that text list and be talking to you every single day, Monday through Friday, and just trying to just give you a little bit of extra sunshine. You guys, speaking of sunshine, on the podcast today is my friend Keri Wilson. And if you've ever been kind of, I don't know, maybe in the workout scene, gone to Soul Cycle classes, scrolled for new workout clothes on different sites, you've probably seen some of her stuff. And I can tell you that the second I laid my eyes on Goldsheep clothing, I was like, I need all of these leggings. I have probably owned, this is embarrassing and also very true, I probably have anywhere from 50 to 70 pairs of her leggings throughout these last 5 to 7 years. I am obsessed with unique, wild leggings. I think I wore a different pair of leggings to SoulCycle every day for a year. I know, very, very guilty pleasure. But this is why I'm so excited to have this woman on the show. And she had always gifted me with different leggings as well and was always reaching out on either Instagram posts or emails. And then randomly, we actually got to meet in an event. And I was so over the moon, pleasantly surprised by just how incredible this woman's heart is and just how creative and her heart of service and who she is in the world and as a person and how she views branding and where this brand came from. And she talks a lot in this podcast about never feeling like she fit in where she grew up, which was in Newport Beach, California, because everything felt so picture perfect. And she really identified as the black sheep, but she didn't want to call it the black sheep. There was nothing wrong with it. So she ended up calling it Goldsheep. And this is really where the identity of the brand was created. So today, Goldsheep has grown from her tiny apartment into an amazing warehouse in Orange County, California, where she proudly manufactures each piece as you order it. She has an incredible team, and everyone has the same goal, and that is to keep Goldsheep brand and spirit alive. Each piece is inspired by pop culture, life, photography, art, and it tells its own story. When you place an order, actual people are in her warehouse doing a happy little dance and starting to make your clothing. So you guys definitely go check it out. But I think you're going to love this podcast. She is so real, so open, so raw. And I think this is only the second time she's ever really spoke in front of people. And I think it's just so eye-opening and inspiring that we think we have it all figured out or that everybody just feels so confident. And that is absolutely not the truth. So she wants to show that if she can do it, anyone can do it. Let's get started. Keri, I'm so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
You guys, this is like a little bit of a girlfriend drop-in for me. I feel like I've been wanting to connect with you for a while. Keri and I feel like we go way back, but we've just like been on each other's journey throughout, sending each other little messages here and there, and then sometimes seeing each other in different places. But you're omnipresent for me. And I have to tell you a funny story about this morning, Keri.
Okay.
I come back to Arizona. I haven't been here for like 4 months and I haven't done a cycle class in I don't even know how long. And I go in my drawer and I don't have like any clothes here right now or workout clothes because I just moved them to a different house. And I have a bunch of your leggings. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God. And I put on these cute emerald green leggings and put them on. And I go to this class that I don't usually go to very often. And the girl from the podium says, are those Goldsheep leggings? I'm obsessed. I love Goldsheep. And she's literally like screaming to the whole class how much she loves Goldsheep. And I'm sitting here like, this is so funny that on the day I'm interviewing you, this girl is like raging about these leggings and spotted them from stage. So
I love that.
I'm really excited. And if you guys don't know, you just listened to the bio, but Keri Wilson of Goldsheep is on. And I can tell you that probably every SoulCycle instructor in Los Angeles has been wearing Goldsheep since I can remember. And I'm always like, what are they wearing? I'm obsessed. And now you're a regular staple in most workout girls' lives. What does that freaking feel like?
Oh, it's so cool. And I actually love that you bring up the SoulCycle thing because actually last week I was asked to speak for the first time. You didn't know this. You asked me to speak and I started spiraling like, I can't speak. So basically about a year ago, I liked one of your things and you asked me to speak and I knew you would. And you asked me to speak. I'm like, oh, no, I can't do that. But that was really nice. And so I got asked to speak again. I'm like, okay, maybe like I should, maybe God wants me to practice. And so I did for the first time last week on a stage and I like burst out crying, but the ladies were so nice and welcoming. And the reason why I bring that up is I talked about SoulCycle. I actually lived in New York City before I started Goldsheep and I was working for a designer and I was working the front desk of SoulCycle. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was a front desk girl and it was the original people. And so I remember being like, well, when I had my idea to do it, it was because I'd walk to work every day and see everybody wearing, and this was like 10 years ago. So like they didn't have fun pants then. everybody was wearing black leggings. And then I would look and see all the cool street art and the artists.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I could take that art and put it on the legs. And I like started to think about it and I started taking photographs. And I went to the place where you transfer the photo on the canvas.
Yep.
But I transferred it on fabric and I made a legging. And then I started, they were really janky. And I was like, I'm going to make leggings. But in my mind is because I was going to Soul Cycle and I was obsessed with them. And I was like, oh my God, this is a whole new world. Like I want to work here 24 hours a day. I love the energy. And I remember saying to the owners, like, I'm going to make all your leggings one day and I want to make leggings for Soul Cycle. And I shared about that last week on the stage and I ended up doing it from the front desk and like with no money. I was asked on the panel last week, what was my biggest accomplishment? And I think I've done a lot of stuff, but that one like was the most meaningful to me.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have a dollar, but you have this idea, like, how can I actually do that? And
my God. What I love so much about this, Keri, is that you were in something already that a lot of people would be like, okay, well, I want to start a business. But what you did is you seized the opportunity you were in for the future business that you wanted.
Yeah.
And you took that opportunity and you ran with it, which is insanely amazing. You saw the opportunity of these people are walking billboards for what I want to do. Yep. You're already kind of like in that scene and in that arena. So people are more likely to want to do that favor for you or gifting. How did that work? I think that would be my first question is when you were like, okay, I can see this as a great way to get my company out there.
Right.
Were you like, okay, I want these girls to buy them, or did you gift them? Were you like, I'm going to make sure that you're always like, you know, covered in Goldsheep? What was that idea?
Well, after I had the idea and I had made a lot of contacts, I was like, there's no way, because I had done production in LA. So I was like, there's no way I can afford what my idea is in New York City, like, and like live. So I moved back home and I went to work they printed like cereal boxes and boxes and stuff. And I went to work there basically for free so I could like play with the machines and
figure
out how to be a printer. When I was making my samples, I just started giving them to people. And I was like, here, can you take it? Can you take it? And by the way, when I say this, it wasn't like, I'm like, oh, I moved back home and then I sent one out and boom, it was not like that at all. This was like, this has been, and anyone who's watched my journey, it's been hell. It's been a lot of work. Like I didn't sleep, you know, this is all I focused on. I actually didn't like go and get married or have kids. Like all I did was make my leggings. So my friends were like, okay, Keri, like this is crazy. But I pushed so many doors and buttons. And actually, when I first made them, I let some people in that I don't even like to go there because I don't like to put bad juju, but I kind of like, we're like, this is a cool thing and kind of ran with it. And so I changed the name and I did it again. And actually, I do want to bring up the name Goldsheep because I was like, I want this to have a good meaning. And the Goldsheep was, when I was growing up, I felt like I didn't fit in. And I was like an oddball. And like, I was like, I want to live in Paris. I want to do runway. Like I want to have pink hair. So I wrote myself in my journal that I wasn't the black sheep. I was the gold sheep because I was more sparkly. So when I went into that part of it and I was doing this all by myself and all of a sudden I was like thinking this is like about people that feel different, you know? So I made this really crazy loud lemon legging. I gave it to a yoga instructor. She walked into Core Power. And the buyer, who's now a good friend of mine, walked in with the owner at the same time.
Wow.
And they called me and said, do you have a legitimate business? I was like, yeah, absolutely. No, I was
for sure. It should be on the printing press.
Oh, it was so ghetto. I was hand sewing them. They didn't have a waistband. It was like so janky. And I remember she called me, I think it was Christine called me and she was like, are you sure? Like, could you supply to every Core Power? I'm like, absolutely. I could do it. Yeah. And I did do it. And then from there, and this is such a God nod for me. That's what I call it when like something just like easily works. I delivered to Core Power Hollywood and Kaylee Cuoco walked in. Do you remember all that stuff with Kaylee?
I don't.
I only say that because she got on the cover of like Us Weekly and everything with it.
Yes.
Remember? She walked in and was like, who did these leggings? And it's kind of like blurry how it happened, but I think at the time I had one intern and they're like, one of your friends just emailed, they want to help you be an ambassador. And it was her. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And she is like the kindest, nicest person. She had me come meet her up at her house.
Oh.
She did a photo shoot for me. And that was one of the things that just made it go crazy. But other than that, with celebrities, what I would do is think about what they would like. Even Kaylee, I made her rescue dogs. Like we did a rescue animal line. So my theory with no money is, okay, what would make this person really excited to like put my stuff on? And then I would give them that and then be like, oh, by the way, here's like my summer line. So that's what started like my PR, and it started to trickle and go out.
I love that because you really from the beginning had such an abundance mindset about like, okay, if this just gets in the right, like if I can just keep getting this into the hands of people who really love it and, you know, getting it out there, that it's going to take hold. And truly, I think your company is like one of the most grassroots companies I can think of, just from seeing like how many it's getting it on people who people are in front of. So that is so huge. Like, okay, who is somebody who could be like an influencer or an ambassador for this, who's always in front of my target audience? Right. Whenever I would see an instructor, I'm like, this woman is so genius.
Soul Cycle was without hands down. I sent it to all the Soul Cycle people because I was like, well, here's how I got them to remember me. I never brought this up. And if any of them are listening to this, they're going to be like, oh my God, I forgot she did that. When I was the little front desk girl, I don't know if you'll remember this, or I don't even know if they still have it, but they had silver bags. Did they have Okay. So they had their original silver bags. I think I took from them like, I don't even know, like maybe a couple hundred. And I cut them up for the Christmas party. And I made myself a Soul Cycle, but pleats. All over, and made a giant dress, and then I made lights so I lit up.
Oh my God!
I walked in, and I do really good one-on-one, like really good, but like I don't like to be that like I'm walking into a party by myself, lit up as a Soul Cycle bag. but I did it, and like I'll never forget that. And I think I started to make more friends there, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Keri, the girl that made the Soul Cycle bag dress." So I just started sending it to all those people. And they were so nice. Like everybody was so nice to me.
Oh, I love that so much. When did you know that you were really onto something? Like, I know that you got the gut hit, like these leggings could be something really cool. And when did you know, like, okay, this really is a real thing? Because in the beginning, it was probably like, I don't know, I hope so. I think I want to, I think this feeling is accurate.
If we go all the way back, I know when something is a real thing, not because of other people, because of God. It hits me in a way that I can't describe. Like, it's almost like I'm going to throw up because it hits me so hard. And I go, oh God. And that still happens. Like if I'm paying attention, I'll go, oh my God, that's a strong feeling I have. And I remember when I had this idea to make the leggings, I was in New York and I was watching Supreme do limited runs. And I was like, that's what I want to do. Limited drops, just like Supreme, because there's 4,000 people waiting down the street to buy that stuff. And I think I knew it in my gut there, but I hadn't proven my point. I remember coming home and I had been silent because I'm like working in my bedroom, making all these leggings. So my parents were like, is something wrong? Like, are you on drugs? And I'm like, no, I had this idea. And I went into my think tank. I remember like my dad was like, are you okay? You haven't talked to anybody in months. And I'm like, I was sewing like a crazy person. I had this idea. And then I came back and some people were like, that's like Burning Man stuff. That's like really out there. And I was like, well, cool. Like, I think it's going to do great. And my theory was this, I like the funky stuff and I know that there's a lot of us. And so I'm like, I don't have to make every piece at the time. I don't need to make every piece be lemons crazy. But like, okay, for example, I did this was a good way for me to know. I did the pineapple pant. And that thing, remember that? That thing just went viral. And my photos were like me with my dog taking a picture. And then they would just be like everywhere. And I think the pineapple pant got on Bahati, then got on Good Morning America. I think that was the morning I was like, I just took a picture, then Bahati got it. And then, you know what I mean? And it was like every time somebody got my product, there was so much, I guess, hype behind it. And it was so easy.
I'm telling you, you were like, honestly, because working out was my life. It still is a huge part of my life, but there was something like such a treat about, it's such a workout person's like way of treating themselves is like these cute workout clothes. And it was the thing that every morning I'd go to my drawer and it was always fun to pick out like a new crazy pant. Like I literally had 2 drawers of rolled up like your leggings. And I was like crazy pant girl. I know. And it was because I got to express myself through your vision. And that's what I want people to hear is like, your dream impacted my life so much, meaning like I wore it every day. Like that was something I literally stepped out into the world into, and I still do. And I just think it's so cool to watch the ripple effect of a dream, someone's dream impacting your life. So like, I'm so glad that you went for it. And just the evolution's been so much fun to watch because in the beginning there was leggings and now you have sports bras and jackets and swimwear and kids lines, all of the things. So I kind of want to know what that expansion was like. Like, I know that you have had, crazy experiences during the holidays. I know that you were impacted just like everyone else during the pandemic. I want to hear about that journey, what the growth journey's been like for you.
I honestly think that's, one of the hardest things. The other would be managing people.
Yeah.
I think managing people is probably the hardest thing. That's been really hard for me. But the growth thing, I learned and was able to remove myself from my own body during COVID. And I'll explain that. But like just growing before COVID, the thing that I never did is I built my own systems out of Keri's brain. So I would just look at a problem and try to fix it. But I know exactly what box I should be in. And it's not that box, So what I think the problem is that Keri in her bedroom sewing the leggings got to a point where I'm like, okay, I can't even make these as fast because I don't think I've brought this up, which is the coolest part of the brand, but also the hardest part of the brand is I'm adamant about it, but I'm having to think this through now. That's the thing. I have been adamant about being American made and in-house and boutique. And so I can control it the whole time. So I don't think people understand that like I've never sent to China or anywhere.
Wow.
I have been making it from the beginning in my bedroom to I still make it. And I think one of the messages that's not portrayed enough is we are still doing it. I am still making it. So when Mary's like, this is delayed, I'm like, Mary, I love you. I love your support. I want you to know like Carmen is in there right now sewing it as best as she can.
Yeah.
And I think, but that only gets you so far.
It does.
I'm at a pivot point right now, a very strong pivot point, and because I just had a huge move with my building. And my pivot point is, do I want to redo the production facility I had going, which it got really big, or do I want to do baby boutique niche product development, be a designer, have a dope team with me, and then like the back end is done down the street? Because it has been what's killed me. It's what I'm most proud of that we've done it this way, but it's also what's given me the most anxiety, the most stress, the most problems. And I remember I was able to meet with a lawyer from American Apparel, and she's like, do you know why nobody does what you do? And I was like, no, why? Like they didn't think of it. She's like, no, because they're not this crazy. And I'm like, okay. But the thing is, my issue is I developed it a way that other people don't. So like I have to basically implement my way in somebody else's facility. You know what I mean?
Okay. So are you saying you're finding that the company's kind of getting bottlenecked, but it's like really messing with your core value of the way that you want to do it. So you're conflicted.
Yes. I had a big shift, like out of body shift where I'm like, stop spinning and I need to start listening to God again. I mean, he's always there, but like, am I listening? And when I went to that women's retreat, it was a Christian women's retreat, and he was loud everywhere. Like every woman I talked to was like really making points that I'm like, I'm not listening. I'm not listening because I'm over here in my warehouse. I'm in it right now. And next door is my facility. And I'm like, why is this machine broken? Like one after the next. And I'm in there trying to fix it. I'm like, oh, is he burning it down on purpose? You know what I mean? Like,
I just got chills.
Yeah.
We'll chat later.
Now I had to look it up this morning, what fire meant in the Bible again. Cause I was like, why have I had 3 fires with machines? And they're not literally like on flames. They just burnt out, you know, and they're like not repairable. And then I had a fire in my server. So it's like one after the next. And it was like rebirth and God is present. And I really liked that. You know, it was like, okay, like he's just like, when I don't get it one time, I'm seeing it again and I'm seeing it again. So what I think I'm going to do is small production in here, because for me, when I'm thinking about you, I want to be able to go next door and be like, okay, I want to make something special for Lori. And what happens with that something special is it creates a whole nother line. So I have to keep that in here. It's a non-negotiable. I don't care. Like I want to always do that. As far as wholesale and online, I have made a lot of good contacts from doing this for 10 years, like by myself. Yeah. And I have somebody in my mind that I've been talking to that I think I need to do a plug-in and be like, I'm going to remove myself from this because of the stress that it causes me, to be honest.
I've been traveling so much this year, and a couple of those times were out of the country. And every time I go, I'm always reminded about how much I regret not learning a foreign language. But the good news for me, and probably you too, is that it's never too late to start with Babbel. Babbel is the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions. Thanks to Babbel's addictively fun and easy bite-sized language lessons, you can finally cross learning that new language off of your list. And I know what you're probably thinking, like, how in the heck am I supposed to incorporate this into my already busy schedule? Do I even need to do this? Well, with Babbel, you only need 10 minutes to complete a lesson. So you can start having real-life conversations in a new language in as little as 3 weeks, and that is it. Like, how productive will you feel? With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. I'm currently trying the Italian lessons because we've gone there twice this year, and I always want to be able to at least say the basics, you guys. So in addition, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. If you're passionate about traveling out of the country, there's no better return on your investment than learning the native language of your favorite place. You earn a level of respect from the locals when you try to communicate in their language. Plus, you could probably get yourself out of some sticky situations if you needed to. Hopefully you don't. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/Lori. That's babbel.com/Lori for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.
I love this honest conversation because I think there's so many people who are in that place of shit's burning down. Things are not working, literally or figuratively. And, you know, this is a great question because, Keri, I get asked this all the time. Like, when do you know when you should pivot and when it's just the story of this was the really hard part that you have to get through? That's and I think that you have already been through parts that are very hard. So you can differentiate between like, no, I've been on this journey. This is a different experience. Is there ways to differentiate that for anyone listening?
I didn't go back to the COVID thing. So what I'm talking about is, you ever sit in your life and you actually stop and like watch it? You know what that feeling where you're like, yeah, and I'm out of body and I'm watching it and you kind of see your future. And this is like I was like looking like, oh, God wants me to see how big I can get this. What ended up happening for me during COVID is, when I told you before, when I'm listening and I'm present and I'm in the right path, for me, things are very loud. And I remember a month before we were shut down, the calling was so loud that I needed to flip my company because I manufacture in a house. I have all these people, and for me, they're my family. And I was losing my mind. I'm like, I am going to lose my company. So I called my lawyer and was like, hey, I'm going to change my website. I'm going to manufacture masks. And she's like, you can't do that. I mean, this is like way before the other people did it.
Yeah.
And I knew a girl that I worked out at the gym. I asked her what she wears, how I can do this better. And together I made an N95 mask cover that perfectly fit over that for the nurses at the hospital. And I made a normal mask for people to buy it. And then I shipped a huge free boxes of 250 masks to the hospital. And this thing, and then eventually you could buy that for the hospital. But anyway, my point is it was like out of control. And in the middle, I had so many people working for me during COVID, like nurses, firemen. Like I think we had 200 volunteers.
Wow.
Yeah. But what it allowed me to see is this is not about the COVID or the mask. I had the ability to see something and I had the ability to blow it up, but there was no SKUs. I could not pack them. I was like, oh my God, this is out of control. And I remember thinking, I don't know if I can be the crazy Lululemon like in here. You know, I would say I should be the loud Lulu. But then I'm like, do I want that A, to be that big, and B, I can't physically do that. You know, so it made me look at when I got back to that point, which is holiday time is why we're talking. I don't know if I want to have, you know, do I want to keep building the biggest warehouse ever? Is that my dream? Like, I don't think that's my dream.
Oh man, this is such a good point because so many people find themselves in a place where if we're one of the quote unquote lucky ones, that all of a sudden our business blew up, right? Like I'm having these conversations lately, like your business blows up or you get the opportunity or you can see it. We forget to actually forecast down the road of what we, the human, will be functioning like within that scenario.
Yeah.
And it's like a question of, do you want this? And if not, what do you want? So Keri, I know like, you know, you don't need to share the vision right now, but what is the type of day-to-day life that you want? What zone of genius will you be working in this future picture of what you desire?
I think, to be honest, like everything changed when I had Carter.
Yeah.
Everything.
So you just let everyone know.
Had a baby. Yeah. I had a baby girl and she was a bit hard. She was an angel baby, very traumatic for me. After having Carter and looking at her, I want to have a really cool brand with a meaning that I started from. And I want it to be about the Goldsheep again. Like I almost think I'm at a big pivot point. I don't have anybody that was in my team before, not one person. So my new vision is I was kind of forced into this new space that's super cool. It's very different than my other. It's, you know, I lived in New York and I lived in downtown LA. It's like a huge loft because I didn't have much time to move out of my other space. And I found this quickly and it just worked really quick. And I'm like, okay, we're moving, we're going.
Yeah.
It's way smaller, but it's rad. It's like very, very artsy feelings. And then I remember when I started this, I never said, I want a Nike size factory, you know, with 5,000 sewing machines. I said, I want a rad art space that's like kind of like Andy Warhol. And I want it to be a think tank. And I want to work with other artists and pull out their light and then transfer it. Like that would be like my dream. That was one dream. And the other part of the beginning process was I wanted to travel or have some way to travel to meet kids in other countries that needed help. And I wanted them to do paintings for me so I could transfer the paintings. And I actually shared that at the women's conference, and a lady I now like love her. That's what she does. She does schools all over the world. And so I'm getting to do that right now.
We need to pause there because that also shows, it sounds like you've had a really transformational experience at this retreat. And, you know, it's funny because you probably got what you're saying, like you probably got a little knock on your soul. Like I should probably go to this. Was there resistance around going?
Are you kidding? The girl, Brooke, who's watching, she'll be like, are you kidding? She texted me, and I love her now. I didn't really know her that well. She texted me every single day. Hey, Keri, it's this Brooke. And I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. But the more I said I'm not going, the more she called me. And
Brooke who?
Thomas. You know her from.
Yeah. I'm like, are you talking about Brooke Thomas?
Yes, from Live Out
She's
Loud.
amazing. Oh my
Yes,
God.
she
Yes.
is.
Okay.
And she goes, I remember the night before, it had gone too far. I couldn't get out. And I was like, I got to get out. I got to get out of this. And then I was thinking, well, you're so worried about talking to Lori. This will be good practice. This is great practice. And what was the coolest part about this for me is I didn't sleep last night to talk to you. I didn't sleep for her all night. And she texted me at 4 a.m. Can we talk? And I was like, absolutely. I'm on the ground. I think I'm going to throw up. This isn't going to happen today. And she's like, no, I'm going to call you. And she said, the other side of fear is the light. This is the dark and the other side is the light. I'm going to walk you on the stage. I'm going to hold you. And she totally did. And when I got up on the stage and I was sharing my stuff, I started crying. And she's like, are you okay? And the whole room was watching. I'm like, yes, but you know what God wanted? He wanted me to hear what I've done by myself from the beginning and hear it out loud. And I just started bawling at the stuff that I forgot I had done because now I'm kind of starting a new thing.
Yeah.
So that was really powerful for me. Yeah.
It's such a good reminder. And I honestly love that you're even just sharing oh my God, I was nervous and oh my God, I was throwing up and I didn't think I could do it. This is so important for women to hear because they skip over the part and we look at the shiny people who are already there. And quite honestly, they don't share it all the time anymore because they've gotten over it and past it and healed it and, moved forward. And they don't have to share it all the time. But I think that the moment that you are in right now, Keri, is one of the most powerful moments that you'll have. So the more that you can speak during this moment, I think a big part of your impact can be made right now when you're actually in the fire. And I think a lot of people wait to speak until they're out. And it's it's so relatable when you're in the fire because it's like turning to your neighbor and being like, holy shit, this is crazy, but we're doing it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for that. So I love that you are being spoken to go and get on, these different things.
It was causing me, to be honest, it was causing me more anxiety to hide from people like you and Brooke than to speak because people were tracking me down. You've been playing it so let's get out. And I mean, I've always listened to your stuff always. And I hear your voice talking to me, which is funny. You're not going to fully be your true self unless you step into your full self. I can hear it and I can see it. I'm playing it small by hiding my warehouse and paying in the corner. Do you know how many times I got nominated for stuff? And I said, no, I'm sorry, I can't go. I'm sick.
Oh my gosh.
Because I didn't want to get, and my team, I hope they listen to this. My team, Taylor, would be like, Keri, you're going. And I'd be like, no, you don't understand. I can't go because I couldn't step into the space of it, getting even an award.
Wow.
Really bad. I was causing myself more anxiety by hiding from people. Then when Brooke told me, the second you talk, it's going to all go away. And I'm like, no, she's lying. This is not true. And when I talked, I said, I am going to cry though. And she's like, you know what? Do it. And I did but then the entire room was so incredible. And each woman, I truly believe that I talked to each woman that was in that room. I think there was 200. Each one came up and said, oh my gosh, I can't believe how amazing your story is. Can I talk to you?
So the gifts of putting yourself out there are exponential to hiding. So I know that you were so nervous before you got on here because this is still so new for you. You just started doing this. I want people to hear even just how you feel right now in this moment. How will you feel when you get off of this podcast?
Oh my God. I feel so amazing, so much better. I've been hiding from you for 3 years.
I've been wearing your leggings and we've been talking and I'm
but I've been scared to reach out. I knew you. I had a feeling in my gut when I reach out, you're going to be like, hey, what are you doing, Keri? Let's pull you up here. And I didn't want to go up there. So I just be like, okay, I'm going to stand in the corner and I'm just going to hide. But I feel so strongly that God has a new chapter where I'm not allowed to hide anymore. That's what I think it is.
That's good. I know that's what it is.
I do. And Goldsheep was I made a full new script for it and what I feel. And the smallest part is the fun, trendy prints. The other part is like my spirit giving back and making sure people feel like and know the message of what a Goldsheep is, which is feeling like me or feeling weird or feeling not like you don't fit in. I love my husband because he's like, you feel like the biggest outsider. You want your hair pink. You wear these, I wear this or money tracksuit every day. And he's like, but then I'm sorry, Keri, you put like the little like trendy models on your page. And I'm like, I love it. I love that he's calling me out because he's right. Like, I don't feel like a 2-pound trendy model. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying he was like, you need to go back to your story, which is like, what makes me a Goldsheep? And like, tell the people's story, everybody's story, why they feel that way.
Oh man, what do you want people to know right now? Like, what is something that you're marinating over in your life that is like coming together so clearly, or a message that's so clear that you're like figuring out, like, oh God, this is amazing that I'm finally figuring this out?
I think I have been the person for so long that is go, 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 and run. And like, I'm waking up before, and even if I still wake up before, it's not like this. And I was doing SoulCycle so much in New York. I was doing it twice a day that the owners were like, okay, it's like, take a time out. You know, so like I run on adrenals and I'm like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. And I'm learning I can't hear the messages when I'm moving so fast.
Wow.
And so after Carter, I knew I had to reset. I knew I would have lost my team. I already knew. And I was going to come back and I was not going to get time off. And Carter was going to have to come in and be here with me. And I was going to have to figure it out. And that's where we're at. Wow. I'm not all by myself. I'm just saying I had a very big like team with me, but I had such a hard year that a lot of people, it was, you know, I didn't think it wasn't their journey like it was mine. But I think right now it's not ignoring the little, I call them God nods, for the messages that are so clear. And old Keri, and I still do this. It's not like I'm like, oh, I'm like reborn and I'm perfect, but I wouldn't listen. You know, I ask him every night and I pray or I write in my journal, hey, can you give me a sign? Like, I don't see them. And where are they? Right. And then, oh, this is a great one. So just for speaking with you last night, I didn't sleep all night. I went on the speakers page and I started listening to all the people that she's interviewed, Elise. So first thing in the morning, she's like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? You didn't sleep. You're like, obviously nervous. And then I'm like, I'm just going to go for a run. And then I'm going to run on the beach with Carter. I'm blind. I can't see anything. And a guy is screaming, Keri. I'm like, oh, hi. Like, I have no idea who you are. And then I put my glasses on. I'm like, oh, Nima. And he's like, that's the weirdest thing ever. I live in like St. Clemente. I forgot what he said, but it was not here. And he's like, and I went to the wrong dentist appointment this morning and I was so mad. And he's like, and then I just saw you and I knew why. And is that weird? And I'm like, oh my God, you think like me. And I didn't even know that. And we grew up at the same high school together. And he goes, how are you doing? And I said, I'm struggling a little bit. It's hard. Like postpartum is hard. Having a baby is hard. Running a business is really hard. And he said, do you know how many times that I've failed or gone bankrupt with my business? And he said, guess what you got? Your daughter. You could start over tomorrow. And I was like, wait, what? Because I grew up with Nima. I've never heard him be like a spiritual advisor. Yeah. My point being is I had just prayed for the God nod. I just walked right into 2. And if I hadn't have been like taking my daughter down to the beach and I've been at SoulCycle is my point of the story. And going like, I got to do my things and I don't have time for this. And I slowly like was listening and looking for what he was going to give me. It was so blunt. Like a guy pulls up, Keri, I want to tell you about my journey. I'm like, really? And then he gave me a hug and he said, what are you going to do differently this time? And that's why I told you that.
Oh my God.
And I said, you know what? Chris, my husband, just reminded me this. This is my time to flip it to what it's really about and not losing the control of like, I just want a big brand. And he said, what does it Goldsheep even mean? And I told him the truth. He goes, how come I've known your brand forever and I didn't know that? Like that needs to be told. So that's just like what I'm learning now is that like, if I ask him, I need to be open. I need to be like still, and I need to like look for the answers.
Oh, This is so good, Keri. I'm so grateful for you. You have given us so much gold, no pun intended, pun intended. But is there anything that you want to leave anyone with? Any last words that are on your heart?
I am really looking for meaningful collaborations, to be honest with you. Like things that like ignite my spirit. Like you can see behind me, like that's Christmas. I love it. It makes me happy, but like it doesn't make my soul burn to make pink and green checkers. You know, like I like the bigger meaning. I like the give back. I like the stuff that changes people's lives, to be honest, where I'm like, oh my God, this is why I'm doing it. And this is why God is using me. And this is why God is keeping going, because this provides for other people. I actually would not be devastated if it flipped to that, because I feel like that has more behind it.
I think there's an evolution to everything. And I think that, you know, every single step that you have taken has been for the last moment and now this moment. And then there's going to be future moments where you'll flip it again because you're growing as a human and you're tuning in more. And that's what this whole freaking crazy journey is. I think entrepreneurship is the most spiritual journey of your life, probably along with motherhood. I can only imagine. But yeah, you are so incredible. I know that you do have your Christmas line coming out, which you guys got to go check it out, which is so much fun. What date is that dropping?
Next Friday, you guys, which I'll put that in the show notes so that when this drops, you guys can go and check that out. And also, I'm just so incredibly excited to watch what's next, because you are I feel like you are just so getting in alignment with the next vision and chapter of your life. And I think it's going to be even bigger and better than you could ever imagine. And I can't wait to be on that ride. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to watch it. You're like my number one supporter. You found me in the very beginning. You were like, Keri, and you've been so nice. Like you always are cheering for me, and you're so massive and talking to, that's why I was like, I can't talk to Lori. She's like friends with like Tony Robbins. I'm like, oh my God. It's so intimidating. Like you've just done such a good job. You really have.
Well, thank you so much. And I don't think you realize that people look at you that same exact way. So you are just one of the brightest, shiniest people that I've ever gotten to meet. And I know that everybody listening feels that energy as well. So you guys definitely make sure you go follow along. Keri, do you want them to follow Goldsheep and your personal, or what do you want them to follow?
Yeah, they can follow. My personal's a lot of Carter and Mini Goldsheep. So if you want to watch Carter, my daughter, and Mini Goldsheep, that's a lot of it.
So website is goldsheepclothing.com. So you guys go check it out, goldsheepclothing.com. Go check out the Insta. With Christmas, I have gifted more gold sheep than you can possibly imagine. And people are always so happy. And it's just like the most fun gift ever, especially now you have your baby line and all of the fun things. So Keri, thank you so much for coming on. I'm sending you so much love. And you guys, until next time, earn your happy. Bye, everyone.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. And I want to make sure that you have my phone number, and I'm not kidding. Did you know that I have a community text number? For real. My phone number is 310-496-8363. This goes directly to my phone. All you have to do is text the word daily to 310-496-8363. And I literally text you every single day, Monday through Friday. I actually just got done 30 seconds ago texting a bunch of people back. And I talk to you all of the time. You guys, people always ask me how I got my community text number and how it works. Well, all you have to do is you can just go to community.com and get your own. Community makes it easy to get a phone number that you can use to build your audience using text. People just text you at your number and they're added to your group. Then you can text them out audios, video links, anything you want. You guys, I text out happy birthday videos. I love to send podcast links, thoughts about life, book recommendations, different events that I'm doing in the local area. Texting gets me out of the noise of social media and directly into your hand. And now you can start texting your people too. Just go to community.com to get your phone number. They give you a 10-digit real phone number, not those weird short codes that look like spam, but it's more than a phone phone number. Your new number comes with an inbox for SMS and texting. This means you can actually manage your text list from your computer and an app on your phone. You can schedule text to send at certain times and to certain groups. You can even set up auto replies or let your assistant or customer service team answer your text messages via Community's awesome dashboard. Just go to community.com and ask for a free demo. They'll show you how it works and get you your number. It's time to start texting your audience versus just posting on social media. Everyone uses Community for that. So go check them out at community.com. I can tell you it's not just great for communicating with my audience, but Chris and I use Community and our texts to also sell out our launches. I'm telling you, you get such an incredible response because you really are creating a true, deep sense of community. And it's so intimate. It's freaking amazing. Go check it out at community.com.
Want to know a huge secret to my success? Okay, not only my success, but just about every single person that I have interviewed on this podcast who is successful has this in common. You guys, they love to journal. They capture their life lessons and what they're grateful for. But a lot of people don't keep this up consistently. And most people do know that the research shows that journaling deepens your gratitude and increases self-awareness. But did you also know that journaling decreases stress and helps you achieve your goals faster? In fact, journaling is a huge differentiator between average performers at work and high-performing people. It leads to longer-term clarity, confidence, and success. So why don't more people journal? Why didn't I journal consistently? Honestly, they don't like staring at a blank page. It's hard to carry a book around with you or a notepad, and they just don't even know what to write about, or they just forget. That's why I know that you're going to love Growth Day. It's the world's #1 system for self-improvement, and it's like all-in-one personal development in an app. And it has an awesome digital journal, and people love it. Growth Day's digital journal has hundreds of research-backed writing prompts for self-reflection, positive mindset, confidence building, and success. I use them all the time, and it makes me think in ways that I typically don't, and it makes me ask myself better questions, which we all know gets better results in our life. It even has prompts that help you develop a daily, weekly, or monthly habit of reflecting on your life and identifying areas to grow. So it's a perfect time of year to start journaling, you guys. When you sign up at Growth Day, you also get systems for habit tracking, goal setting, and scoring, and improving every area of your life. Best of all, I get to teach there too, you guys. I'm so excited. I hope that I get to see you. I teach live in Growth Day every single month with a new topic just for you. So join me there. Start your free trial at growthday.com/Lori.
Hey, do you know what the big secret is this year? And it shouldn't be a secret because this should be your biggest focus. It is building your community. I am always working on building and nurturing my community, and everyone is talking about the power of community. Without an online community, you just cannot grow organically or create a real movement, which is what I know that we're all after. And you can build trust or monetize your audience. When you get community right, not only does your audience grow faster, but so do your sales. But where's everybody going to be managing their communities these days? And a lot of online entrepreneurs and thought leaders are turning to Circle.so. Circle is an all-in-one community platform. It lets you host content and create discussions, live streams, group chats, and memberships all under your own brand. And what's so cool about Circle.so is that you don't even need a website or Facebook group. Instead, Circle lets you build your own community site where you can host content and manage your members. You can even create locked and unlocked content spaces, groups, and classes. How freaking cool is that? You can put your content behind a paywall too, and you can charge different amounts of money for different spaces on your community site. Circle.so is famously easy to use, and it has a free 14-day trial for you, so you can go check it out, see if you like it, see if you love all the options. Just go to circle.so. Go check it out right now, you guys. Imagine being able to manage your community, start group chats and live classes, and accept payments all in one place. Kind of mind-blowing, since this is usually spread all over the place. You have to log into so many different things. If this is the year to capture, organize, and monetize your community, head over to circle.so. You can get a free trial and start building your online community right now. Just go to circle.so. You guys, you get the 14-day free trial. So just go and see if it's for you. It's going to streamline everything and make your life so much easier. It's so freaking cool.